Today on One.
Guys, nice work.
I'll go next for runner.
We'll take you to a different kind of sports camp. And later, all aboard as we take you to DeLand's historic train station, and we'll meet the staff keeping the trains on track. We'll show you why home is where the heart is for World Habitat Day. We've got all that and more coming up on today's show. This is One. Hi, I'm Amy Rogers, and welcome to One, a show about the people and places that make Central Florida special. This month, we'll be sharing in the spirit of giving, and we'll be honoring our veterans. Food and shelter are two of our most basic needs and are things that most of us take for granted. But Habitat for Humanity knows that sometimes it takes a bit of help to provide a family a place to call home.
Habitat provides for each of us as individuals safe and affordable housing for those of us in need. There's no way on earth that we could have bought a home without Habitat. When we first moved in our trailer, very first, I asked my husband, what's this feeling I'm having? What is this feeling? And he said, it's your home.
It's my first time having my own house, so it's pretty exciting for all of us.
Being part of Habitat for Humanity, I've been given that opportunity to continue my service, which has improved a lot of my mental, physical, and spiritual aspects of my life.
Well, for years I was on television, and I had the opportunity to come on board with Habitat a year ago, a little over a year ago. So what I saw firsthand was that with minimal investment, you can totally change somebody's life. Not just that person's life, but the succeeding generations.
I was in a deployment with Operation Enduring Freedom, which is for Afghanistan. I was an explosive ordnance tech. My transitioning back into the United States was very difficult at first. After you serve your country for so long, it becomes a part of you. And whenever you stop serving, even though you carry on your day-to-day life, there's still something inside of you that needs to serve, something that needs to give back.
The reason why volunteering is important to me is I've been very blessed in my life. My wife was sick and she received a lung transplant. And that was because someone donated their organs to her. It was not only a second chance for her, but it was a second chance for me. And so I decided that what I would do is I'm going to give back the way I was given to for the community.
The need is undeniable. 1.6 billion people live in poverty housing, and that's intolerable to me. And at some point in your life, it's just not about you anymore. It's about, you know, what can you do? And what can I do that makes a difference?
Last year, Habitat for Humanity reached a milestone by building 500,000 homes worldwide. If you'd like to learn more about how you can help locally, log on to their website at habitatorlando.org. It serves up more than just a hot cup of joe. For One College Park Coffee Shop, its mission is to serve the community in more ways than one. As Buddy Pittman tells us, Downtown Credo is impacting lives one cup of coffee at a time.
Oh, let me sing this over your anxious heart.
Downtown Credo is a place where up-and-coming songwriters can step into the spotlight.
We're growing and shape-shifting, we are both changing.
It's also a place to relax or gather with friends.
It's kind of like Cheers, you know, you walk in and there's always somebody here who knows who I am, and it's just kind of a place you feel at home.
Hey, did we meet last time you were in here? Awesome, great.
Oh, yeah? What many don't realize amidst the music and the atmosphere is that this coffee shop is a non-profit charity. For you see, at this coffee shop, it's not as much about the coffee as it is community.
So the idea is that we'll like our lives better if we become people of meaning, impact, and community. And I think it's caught on because people genuinely want the experience of being part of a group of people who are committed to a life of meaning, impact, and community, the kind of life people want.
You may notice that the listed prices on the menu, well, they're merely a suggestion. It's your donations that pay for the coffee, the Danish, and more importantly, the Credo's work in the community, as they use their proceeds to help support local charities like the Boys and Girls Clubs and the New Image Youth Center.
One of the groups that Downtown Credo works with is the New Image Youth Center, and we facilitate a community garden here with the children who come to the center. We've been doing this for about 2 years. We try to have the kids own the project, and we also go to the farmers market twice a month in College Park, where the kids get the opportunity to sell their produce and see what it's like to run a business.
The end goal for me would be to see kind of real networks of people develop that are taking up this approach to life that says we can impact the world locally and globally. Our mission is to improve the quality of lives in our nation's cities, and when there's networks of people doing that in cities, cities will be better places to live.
Downtown Credo monthly activities include helping out with the Boys and Girls Club and a trash cleanup in the Orlando Paramore area. For more information, go to downtowncredo.com. Boot camp fitness is one of the latest trends for getting in shape fast. It's a tough military-style training that's about building strength and endurance with the help of a trainer that's pushing you to your limits. We caught up with one of the intense workouts to see what it takes to get fit boot camp style.
Boot camp is a very intense style workout. The more intense the workout, the more calories you're going to burn. We actually refer to our boot camp as adult recess. Take you back to, being a kid and outdoors playing. Each week we concentrate on something different. Week 1 we do a lot of endurance.
Blue cones, 50 high knees. We are going fast count right here.
Week 2 we move on to more functional training. Week 3 we up the intensity and we go into interval training.
Let's get started. Let's go to your group.
No yellow. Here we go. Breaking it down in 3, 2, 1, and go. Teamwork, go.
And then week 4 we really push our campers and go into metabolic conditioning. Biggest result we get is just people feeling amazing. It's great for us as trainers to see the change. Like somebody will come out for that first camp and they'll struggle. Maybe they'll only make it through 15 minutes of that workout. But by the end of, week 4, they're just like going through the entire workout.
After we did the warm-up, I was like, what? That was the warm-up?
Through about 30 minutes throughout the workout, I kind of had to stop and walk away and take my breath. I very quickly was humbled and was totally different and brought a whole new level of fun and challenge to it.
With a group around you, like motivating you, and they don't let you quit, so you have to keep going.
Guys, nice work.
I'll go next for runner.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with leukemia in 2010. Boot camp has helped me rebuild my cardiovascular and my strength without tiring me out.
50, who needs more? Well, I have 2 young kids, so this helps me move around with them. So now I'm able to chase my kids and, it's just a whole new level.
Let's go, guys. Abdurrahim, let's get those hips up.
I've brought my body to a better level in fitness.
You have that camaraderie with other people, feel good about yourself, and you make friends.
The courses usually run 4 or 6 weeks and can be indoors or outdoors. Boot camps can be found all over Central Florida. Coming up, where have all the snakes gone? We'll take a look at why the Atlantic salt marsh snakes are disappearing. We'll take you to a National Vietnam War Museum that many people in Central Florida don't realize is in their backyard. But first, let's take a look at some nonprofit events and opportunities in the area. If you'd like your nonprofit event listed, email us at WUCF. Our email address is one@ucf.edu and reference nonprofit in the subject line. Please give us at least 2 months' notice before the event. This is not your ordinary sports camp. These athletes are made up of Marines who are just as enthusiastic and competitive and are winning in more ways than one. They're all veterans and part of the Wounded Warrior Adaptive Sports Camp that helps them rehabilitate and gives them a sense of camaraderie.
Looking out here, you have everything from lower limb amputation to PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress syndrome, to TBI, which is traumatic brain injury. Number one, they're all Marines, so they don't care what their injury is. They all have the same attitude towards each other. You know, you're part of our brotherhood.
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity to get away from, not necessarily avoid the reality of what we're in right now, but to get away for a while. Almost like a drug, prescriptive of course, but temporarily to just forget about the things that are going on, get your mind off of it.
Mainly this camp, I believe, is for the injuries that you can't see. This is the best type of healing that you can get. You could always see a psychiatrist or psychologist, you could always take meds, but the best healing is being around people that have been through the same things that you've been through, and to just talk about it and come together and figure out, you know, hey man, what works for you? All right, that works for you. Hey, this is what works for me, and come up with good solutions to helping your issues.
Kind of takes them away from concentrating on their problems for a while, and that's all I can really hope to do, is to kind of give them an outlet to where they feel like their situation is somehow improved a little bit through playing sports, and that's really, you know, what I'm here for, is to make them understand that just because they're injured or ill, that, you know, they don't have to go home and sit in front of the TV or the video games. You know, they can get out and participate in something and have fun and have a camaraderie again.
The Marines were from all over the United States and competed against local sports teams, including the UCF women's basketball team. So where are all the Atlantic salt marsh snakes? We know that changes in our environment affect our ecosystem, and now biologists are wondering if man-made changes to the snake habitat in Volusia County are making them all but disappear.
We found in the salt marshes. So for the last 3 days, we've been on a water snake bio-blitz looking for the threatened Atlantic salt marsh snake. And so in Tomoka Snake Park, it's thought to be one of the last strongholds of this endangered snake.
And it's very rare and very difficult to find. The habitat we work in is a salt marsh, and it's very, very treacherous and difficult to traverse. So it's hard to find these snakes. So we've only collected 4 of them in the last 4 years.
You're in mud up to your waist sometimes. Sometimes you'll get stuck and you'll have to yell, so another student will come over and grab you to pull you out of the muck. And so we spend hours at a time looking for these.
Well, one of the big questions in regards to the Atlantic salt marsh snake is the genetics of the salt marsh snakes. Dr. Parkinson and his genetics lab is helping us in regards to studying and determining the genetics of this suite of species. The listed species is a subspecies, the Atlantic salt marsh snake.
We're finding freshwater snakes in the saltwater environment. And one of the conservation concerns for the Atlantic salt marsh snake is that these freshwater snakes are more able to get into these salt marsh environments because of human interactions, and therefore are able to breed with the salt marsh snakes and then disrupt the gene pool.
Snake, snake, snake! What kind? Where do you? Good job. It's banded or salt marsh? Banded. Oh, awesome.
So we're not sure how it's going to affect the ecosystem. We actually don't have a real solid grasp on what this could potentially be doing to the ecosystem. What it does give us, though, is an indication that we may have altered the ecosystem significantly.
We have found they're pretty much limited to Volusia County. The range of the species has been decreasing.
We're now finding freshwater species in what should be a saltwater environment. So what it looks like is humans may have altered it enough to where other species may also be very different. So it gives us a guide to then look for other trends in other organisms.
If humans have caused the anthropomorphic change, i.e. they've wrecked the habitat, and we are the ones causing the species to go extinct, I think we need to work to solve that issue and try to do recovery.
The biologists will continue their research next year, and since the snakes are so rare, they don't have a good idea of how many of them still survive. It's easy to drive right by the National Vietnam War Museum, tucked away in a residential neighborhood of East Orlando, and not even know it's there. But ask the veterans who run the museum, and you'll see that the site is both a place to reflect as well as a place to educate and touch history in a more personal and hands-on way. Harry Scholler and Eustace Horn of the National Vietnam War Museum are this month's Ones to Know.
It's very important to have a facility anywhere like this because a lot of people are unaware of the contributions of the military. Unless you have an interest, you might never know, but if you come here, our tour guides and our equipment and our displays inside tell you a story about the veteran and what the veteran has done. All the equipment you see here is given to us on loan by the military. The Army owns the helicopter, the Navy owns that plane, the A-4.
What's very unique about this museum, when you come in here, you can touch everything we've got here. We let you touch it, especially if you're kids. There's a lot of questions when we handle these things. That table was built by a 7-year-old boy. His father was an infantryman in Vietnam. His body was never recovered. He had a picture of his father's effects, and he used that picture to build this model. When we have kids come in, we tell them, you know, they were our enemies, but they were just like you. They have their wives, their husbands, their kids. The guy has the canteen and the web gear. In his wallet, they found a letter from his girlfriend. Basically, it says, "Dear Hope, I haven't seen you in 4 years. I don't know when I'm going to see you again. By the way, I've got another boyfriend." He started writing back to her. Before he finished it, he was killed. In his wallet was her picture and his picture. So again, something that you don't see a lot in big museums.
What we're doing today is we're preserving something that people can come 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. You say that name on the wall, you just remembered him. You said it out loud, you remembered him, so somebody remembers.
The Larry E. Smedley National Vietnam War Museum hosts events year-round and holds special events for veterans during Memorial Day and Veterans Day. It's located at 3400 North Tanner Road in Orlando. Next on One. We'll tell you where you can experience train service of yesteryear. But first, let's take a look at some local upcoming events from around the area. Bustling cities and traffic jams seem to be the norm these days in Central Florida, but there is still a place where you can step back in time to experience the service and romance of train travel, and it's just a few miles from Main Street. In this month's edition of Central Florida Hometown, we take you to the DeLand Railroad Station, where we meet the people behind the station who are keeping the passengers happy and the trains on time.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Amtrak's train, the northbound Silver Meteor, is expected within the next minute.
Riding the train is like stepping back in time to when it was simpler and slower and more peaceful, and you actually had the time to talk to one another and had interest in each other without the texting and all the electronics and the digital age.
Here at DeLand train station, it kind of takes you back to an earlier day.
The station was built in 1918. It does have very much the feel of an old-time train station, what you might see in one of the movies. One of the reasons why I like the DeLand station, I have the opportunity to interact one-on-one with my passengers. That's what I enjoy. I love working with people. That's why I have the job that I do. It doesn't make any difference to me who they are, where they come from. Everybody has their own story.
The enthusiasm of people that come into the station. Sometimes people come in and they have this romantic idea about trains and train travel, and I don't want to break that illusion for them. When the train comes in, I get chills still. Like, it's something that just makes me, I swell up with pride. I want to wave to the engineer that goes by. I want to make sure that all the passengers are cared for, and they get on the train and they still have that good mood and that romantic idea, and so it's an easy trip for everybody, including my coworkers.
We decided to take the train instead of driving for the experience. My friend's never done it before, and you know, you might have seen movies with the train, and so it's something to tell people that you've done.
The uniqueness of the DeLand station is the fact that DeLand itself still has a very small town quality to it. The people that come in are not in a hurry, they're friendly, they'll ask us how we are, we'll ask them how they are. It's got the small town quality that is missing so much in the world today.
From DeLand, you can take one train all the way to New York Penn Station, which is the changing point for many destinations further north. If you have a story idea, let us know by emailing us at one@ucf.edu. When you think of NASCAR, loud engines and thousands of screaming fans come to mind. But it's not just about speed. For one local writer, NASCAR is poetry, and his work combines fast cars with prose.
My dad owned an auto parts store in Peabody, Mass. He built stock cars for the West Peabody Speedway. You could call me David Axle Grease instead of David Axle Rod. I kind of grew up with motor oil for blood. I really feel a kinship to racing and cars. Well, I have to say that being a poet has been a happy journey for me. I've been around the world a number of times, but the NASCAR audience is actually very wonderful. There is no lemon law that covers lovers. You shop around, you go for a test drive, you pay your money and you take what you get. Divorce is the junkyard. What you're buying are new roads to travel, dreams of immortality. Only when the parts fail, there's no turning back, no bumper-to-bumper warranty, just the wrecker, someone to give your title to, and one last look for small change under the front seat.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of One. I'm Amy Rogers.